name is Angela Kung, and this is my colleague, Laura Stefani. Today we'll be talking about key areas in which telecom touches non-traditional businesses and what companies need to be thinking about in the new year. Laura, could you give us an insight into what's happening in 2020?
One area where there's an intersection between telecommunications and companies and businesses not ordinarily falling under the FCC's regulations is the Internet of Things. And 2020 will finally be the year where we'll start to see some of the promise of IoT really pay off, in large part because of the launch of 5G technologies.
That's a really great point. Winning the race to 5G has been a top priority at the FCC, and it has initiated several proceedings to auction spectrum, including mid-band and high-band spectrum, so that 5G services can be deployed quickly. And once deployed, 5G is expected to be 100 times faster than today's 4G LTE networks. It's expected to reduce latency down to zero and allow networks to handle up to 100 times the number of connected devices, revolutionizing the way businesses and consumers connect.
Right, and that's really going to enable new products and services that we've never seen before.
And it's not just the urban areas that will benefit either. The FCC has several programs through which interested parties can obtain funding to deploy broadband in rural areas, opening up a whole host of IoT applications and possibilities for companies seeking to break into the 5G market.
Right, so companies are going to have to start thinking about what type of funding might be beneficial to them, as well as what spectrum resources they may need and how to obtain that spectrum, and what are the best, most efficient ways to get their innovative technologies to market.
Yes, and we can help work with companies to make sure that they stay innovative while also ensuring that they comply with the FCC's rules and regulations.
Absolutely. And another interesting development is the FCC's recent adoption of revised RF safety rules, which require additional testing for sensors, smartphones, mobile and portable devices prior to being placed into the marketplace to ensure protection of human health. Beyond that, even more interesting is the FCC's proposals in that proceeding to allow for wireless charging at a distance, meaning within a room or within a warehouse floor or a factory floor, which will further push our IoT to its promised state.
That's right. The agency also modified its rules recently that provide for safety at cell towers and other fixed antenna locations. And it is looking at these issues for so-called high band or millimeter wave band spectrum, where a lot of 5G technologies will be rolled out. One thing that companies are concerned about is understanding these rules and how to obtain equipment authorizations for new technologies.
Exactly. One other thing we're looking at is cybersecurity and how it relates to IoT devices. We've been hearing more and more about the NIST standards that are being adopted for manufacturers and whether those should be incorporated into the FCC's equipment certification rules, which would make those standards, which are supposed to be voluntary standards, de facto design standards for IoT manufacturers.
Interesting. I know that the FCC has also been active in ensuring that our wireless networks are secure as well. Indeed, the FCC recently adopted rules that safeguard the security and integrity of our communications infrastructure by limiting the ability of providers to purchase or obtain equipment from companies that pose a national security threat.
With all these next generation technologies coming to market, we're going to see more and more activity both on industry side and the FCC side, far more than we've ever seen in the past. That's going to mean that these businesses that have not engaged with the FCC before are not only going to have to pay attention to what the agency is doing, but also engage in policy making so that they can ensure that the new rules being adopted support their business interests.